This was probably one of the most informative episodes we have had in a long time. Not just the insights of the individuals that we see in the episode, but as well as some lore dump, some understanding the structure of the past of that world, which we've yet to fully understand for anime watchers only, including manga readers only. Now, if you're a web novel reader, light novel reader, you pretty much got the gist of it. You've been there for everything. You've been there. But anyways, not only that, but the memes. The memes, oh my gosh, the memes. It has been ridiculous with the memes. So we finally get to see the Chaos Breaker in full display, fully animated. Last time we seen the Chaos Breaker was in Season 1, Part 1, when Rudius was shopping with Eris. And he didn't know what it was, and Eris was proud. Like, oh, finally, something you don't know about. Let me tell you about the Chaos Breaker. It is the home of the Armored Dragon King, the hero of humanity. The one that they honorably named the new counter after, of the new age of mankind. So, that castle is in a way kind of the remnants of the old world, how the world used to be, the six-faced world. Remember that. But anyways, thanks to Nanahoshi, they got invited. Everyone's allowed to go, everyone but Roxy, because the Armored Dragon King has a thing against demons, because he's been in a long-ranging war with the demons thanks to Laplace and Kishirika. So, in honor of the Fallen, and what is to come later on down the road, he can't allow anything to go wrong. So no demons whatsoever are allowed to be in the castle, no matter what. So Roxy, in a way, kind of knew it, with the memes that came out about it saying Roxy looks this way because she's got caught a slur. Progress is being very discriminatory against demons. Demons' lives matters. All that stuff was happening. And it was hilarious. It was freaking hilarious. But moving on, seeing Chaos Breaker itself is a lot larger than I thought it would be. I thought it would just be one giant castle, but no. It's a kingdom. It's a flying kingdom. And I highly doubt a lot of people live there. But people could live there, but he doesn't allow them to because it's just there as a monument in a way. A giant, the world's biggest freaking antique, you could call it. And it's nuts. But anyways, they finally get to see Progress in his 12 familiars. You've seen one of the familiars during Season 1, Part 1, where right before the Mono Calamity happened, he was out to attack Rudius, but Ghislaine came and saved the day. Then when the Mono Calamity finally happened, he teleported back. So we got to see one of them. And that's the thing I like about Mushoku Tensei. It introduces you to the characters and establishes them, but doesn't give them a full-on context until later down the road. I really do like that. It gives you something to look forward to later on. And if you do have a good memory, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that character. I remember that place. I remember them talking about this thing. It's amazing. So it makes you want to keep up with the story and the things that go on within the story itself. Very amazing. So the people who got invited to the castle all had their reasons of being there, their own little insight of what they want and what they desire. So let's talk about Selphie first. Selphie's main goal is finding out what happened in the Mono Calamity. That's something that she can never let go. She lost her family. She kind of see what happened with Rudius' family, with Xenoth and Paul and stuff. She kind of has this disdain towards Mono Calamity and Nanahoshi's involvement within it as well. So because of that, she feels a bit uncomfortable and unsatisfied. Something that she feels like she can't move on from until she gets her answers. But Progress gave her this. He doesn't know who did it. If whoever was able to do it had to be someone from another world, because that was too much mana, and for what happened, no one at that time has it, unless Laplace. Speaking of Laplace, he moves to Rudius, and he asks Rudius, your mana is like Laplace. I detest it. And Laplace is the demon god and the technique god of that world. And because of that, he sustains Rudius very much and wishes, but not fully, but he has suspicions of Rudius. Then, as he talks to Selphie, he also says, do you two have a son? No, just a daughter. Well, he says, if you have a son, bring him to me, and I will name him. So, foreshadowing, foreshadowing. That's going to be one dramatic period right there. That's going to be very interesting with that when that happens. Like, my goodness. Next, let's talk about Rudy's request. Rudy's request was to help a way to cure Xenoph, and how she got in that position. He explained it to Pergurus, and Pergurus was like, there is someone I know who went through the same thing you did. I'm surprised she didn't tell you it. She's right next to you in Alina Lei's Dragon Road. Yes, Alina Lei's Dragon Road went through the same thing Xenoph had, and she even explains it later on, saying that she was rescued by one of Pergurus's familiars within a labyrinth, and she woke up from it with no memory of who she was. So she went on living, did get married, and had a family with this other elf. However, her sexual desire got strong and realized towards the end of the month she would produce mana crystals out of her. And the mana crystals caused her to be extremely rich. That's how Alina Lei's become rich, because at the end of the month, through sexual desire, she gets mana crystals. So she has to have sex in order to produce these mana crystals, or else it would over-consume within her, and she could possibly, will die. So if she doesn't have sex, she will die, in a way. So one day, her husband was on a way to trade the mana crystals for profit, and he got attacked and got killed. After that, in more context, she started sleeping around with other people, got wild, and then she was kicked out of the elven tribe forever. So she wandered around. And the reason why you don't see a lot of elves at all in this show is because in most worlds, the elves always stay to themselves. They keep themselves. They don't expand outwards because they see their land as perfect and everything. So you never really see the land of elves here in Mushoku Tensei, ever. You'll see the beast place, you see the demon place, but you don't see the elves, ever. They're very secluded and everything. They don't allow outsiders either. So she got kicked out. So she's been wandering around and stuff. But now she has Cliff. So she didn't give the information to Rudius because the situation was kind of different between Xenoph and Ariel. Xenoph hasn't died or needed any form of sexual contact in order to survive. So it's different for her. So she don't know what's really going on with Xenoph. So she don't feel like telling Rudius. So Rudius did understand that as well. Now, with Alina Lei, like I said, she's a very interesting character to the lore of that world as well. At least one of the parts is very, very interesting. If you want to know more, read or listen to Old Dragon's Tale. You can listen to someone, Natalie Hunter, actually does an audio playing of Old Dragon's Tale here on YouTube. Very good, by the way. I miss her. She's been gone for a long time. But anyways, moving on. Next is Ariel. Ariel says she's just there to honor the Dragon King, but Dragon King can see right through her. He says, "Don't lie to me. I know what you're after." Well, he don't say it fully, but in context. Ariel is not used to dealing with straightforward people. It's like she didn't know how to deal with Rudius in a way. Because Rudius is a straightforward, kind of person. He doesn't want much out of people. And Arius grew up in a place where people are very deceitful. They do things indirectly. They always want something in return. So that's how she thinks how everyone is. So when she sees someone who's very straightforward, she doesn't know how to deal with them in a way. So she's visiting a hero, a Dragon King, someone who is very straightforward, and he can see right through her, so she doesn't know how to handle him. So secretly, she wants to put him in her corner so she can have the backing in order to become the next ruler of the Ashura Kingdom. That's her great goal and ambition, is what happened. So she doesn't know what to do there to be, honest. So she has to work on that in order to gain favor of the Dragon King. Now, with Zenoba is a straightforward dude. He only had one question. He asks, "Do you know the insignia on this book?" And Prager said, "Yes, that is the insignia of the Mad Dragon King." He was like, "Yeah, that's the guy, one of my colleagues who died a decade ago, however. But they found an automaton which the automaton they found inside Rudius' house that was there. So hence that the Armored Dragon King once lived in that house, or one of his places that he would stay at. And he left that thing behind. And he could tell that Zenoba was a man of arts. He loved the arts. And one thing Paris loves is someone who appreciates his lineage, his kind's culture in a way. So seeing Zenoba extremely happy and excited to learn more, he's like, you know what? I like you. I like you. So it was amazing how he took great liking to Zenoba. Because Zenoba was very short, straightforward, and happy. And plus, he appreciated the structural work of his people. So, of course, Paris would take a great liking to him. Dragons are very prideful creatures. And so they like it when you like their stuff. It brings them pride and joy as well. So I believe those are all the questions. So they go exploring around the place because they'll be staying there for a while. The servants even help give them Japanese food. So Nanahoshi and Rudius are eating it, doing the typical traditional way of eating the Japanese food. But in their dialogue, it isn't that great. But they kept eating it anyways for how much they miss it. And Nanahoshi misses it really a lot. She wants to get back home so badly. And a lot of people are confused of why Nanahoshi wants to go back so badly. The answer is this. Nanahoshi, it represents the old style isekai. Rudius represents the new modern isekai. A loser goes to another world and he gets a new lease on life. And he gets powerful and he gets his harem and he doesn't want to go back. He's happy the way he is. Nanahoshi is old school isekai. Back in the day, most isekais, it was always a female character getting isekai'd. And she's on his journey to not only save that world, but then also has a desire to go back home. And if she's good enough, she might have her love interest follow her to that world, or she meets her love interest in that world that she came from. That's how it usually is when it comes to old school isekai. If you look up old school isekai, majority of the times it was a female that was transported to another world on some sort of quest. And she would eventually go back and she would get homesick. She would probably leaving with some type of conflict that she had with inside herself. And then when she goes to this other world and faces challenges, she has this desire to go back home and fix her own problems. And do better, that was the main point of isekais, was based off of Alice in Wonderland. Is someone with some internal conflict. They go to this other world where it's like a therapy session, and then they come back as a newer and better improved person with a great resolve. That was the main point of isekai. Not to stay there and be a king, but to go there, help people out, they help you, you have more insight, and you learn from it, and you come back as a better person. That is the true point of isekai. Nanahoshi is the true point of isekai. She misses her home. She has something that she loved to live for. She had family and friends, and probably even a goal there in life, and she misses it a lot. But because of that, she is this way, in a way. Very sad for her. So, one of my favorite parts of this episode, believe it or not, is when they go into the secret room, the room that was at the bottom where Zenoba realized they went in there. They see this room of monuments. Monuments of a deep past of the dragon's race. Like I said, used to be a six-faced world. These are the sides of the worlds. I already said it before, I'll say it again. Humans, demons, dragons, beasts, sea, and sky. Those were the six worlds. And all those worlds were separated from each other by a barrier of the void. The only way you get through it is that you are a very powerful god of that world. And not the gods in that world, like the sword god, the death god and stuff. I mean, actual gods, like very powerful beings that could shape the nature of their world back then. And one of the strongest was the dragon god. And it's showing the pictures of, in a way, of the timeline of what happened there. Pegasus knows some insight of it, despite how much he takes care of this room, because it's one of the last things that's left of the past of that world of that time, in a way, it still displeases him because he knows how the story ends in that room. Because of that, he doesn't like it. I'm not spoiling it, but it caused the other worlds to be destroyed, and only a small fraction of each creatures were able to go into the human world. Only the human world survived of all those 6 worlds, and the other ones crumbled apart. So a lot of things died, and yeah. So it's a very dark timeline. And there's a very important individual that you do point out. That people were pointing out, those who've read the novels were pointing out which character on the structure was each individual in a way. They were able to name all the gods that are holding hands in that one part. Then they're naming the Dragon King, the Dragon God, and his Dragon Generals as well, the 5 Dragon Generals. And one of them was Laplace, was a Dragon General. And then it showed the human god, the beast god, and all that stuff. And then it showed the lover of the dragon god and them giving birth to a child. And the rest of it, I'm not spoiling. But that's it. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, it's a very cool moment. I enjoy it. As someone who's been reading and just listening to all the lore of this world, when I saw that, I'm like, yo, it's all coming together. In the final part, the biggest meme, selfie, evil selfie. We haven't seen, you always have those pictures of a very nice character that gets a meme of them having an evil smile. For some reason, it looks so cool. Like when Capella transformed to Amelia in ReZero and gave her that evil look. People are like, wow, evil Amelia looks cool. You know, that evil look she had. Good thanks to Capella looking like her. Well, this one, thanks to the power of AI, they made Selfie have an evil look. Because if you haven't realized, since the beginning of the season, Nanahoshi has been coughing. And she keeps coughing. And people were wondering, hey, you keep coughing, something's not right here. And to the point where Selfie's healing her, and she starts coughing out blood. And she collapsed. Now, Selfie, of course, is in a stunned shock right then and there. And she's saying she didn't mean to. In a way. So, in a way, Selfie thinks that this is her fault of what happened. And indirectly, yes and no. It's something that's happening because of... They'll explain it next episode. But because of that, people have been making memes of how Nanahoshi does... How Selfie doesn't like Nanahoshi like that. And because of that, she probably did it unintentionally or intentionally. And it's just been a crazy thing. Everyone's showing Selfie killing. Even the author himself, Richard, has been making... Refugien had been making fun of this as well. Being in on the joke, in a way. And it has been golden. It has been really hilarious. So I'm enjoying it very much. Like I said, it was a fast-paced episode, but a lot happened into it through subtext. A lot of stuff. We saw some desires and insights from individuals, and we learned a little bit more of the past of that said world. So yeah, good, great episode. Now, people are complaining about, the IBW thing and the downvoting. I don't care about that. I don't care. People have no lives, and they will spend their time just hating on something that doesn't bother them, that shouldn't bother them, but they'll have nothing else better to do in life, so that's what they will do. Either way, this show's getting fully adapted. And when he's done with his other work, Refugien will work on the sequel to Mushoku Tensei. So it's going to happen one way or another. So that's why I don't care. I'm getting what I want, and you're getting what you want. And that's all that should matter at the end of the day. Okay? Okay. So anyways, I think that's all I got. I said I could say more. I really can. But I'm going to leave it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, of course. Hit that bell icon. This has the background. I'm Anime. Signing out.